Please be seated. Good evening and Merry Christmas. I hope that you and yours have a wonderful and blessed Christmas and Christmas season. So Christmas, the real Christmas, should evoke in you and me strong positive feelings, shouldn't it? Feelings of peace and of joy and of comfort and well-being. But the historical event that we commemorate at Christmas, that of the birth of Jesus, actually took place in a world and at a time that was characterized by anything but well-being. The world of the first century was a shockingly dangerous place where kings and emperors imposed their wills on subjugated peoples by means of military might and oppression. And where, for example, at his personal whim, Herod could order with impunity the murder of all the baby boys in Bethlehem in a paranoid attempt to do away with one particular baby boy. It was a time, thus, where darkness and despondency dominated even the hearts of God's own chosen people. It was into this world that God sent his Son, born of a virgin. This was God's great, cosmic, and supernatural intrusion into the life of mankind and of planet Earth, the intrusion we know as the Incarnation, the mystery of the Word made flesh. And while his great intrusion was indeed cosmic and supernatural, it was also absolutely earthly and physical. And the Nativity story, as St. Luke narrates it, is the best example we have of the convergence of the cosmic with the earthly, the supernatural with the physical. And in this convergence, we see a stark contrast. The Christmas story is, in fact, a profound study in contrasts. The contrast begins this evening with our reading from the prophet Isaiah, chapter 9, where Isaiah says this: "The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwelt in a land of deep darkness, on them light has shined." St. John, in the prologue of his gospel, would speak of this same concept with these words: "In him," that is in Jesus, "was life, and the life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." Light conquering the darkness. The kingdom of light invading and overcoming the kingdom of darkness. The King of light rescuing those engulfed in darkness by the King of darkness, and yet doing so in a way that is thoroughly unexpected, unpredictable, largely hidden, and yet foretold in the ancient prophecies. The God of the universe coming to earth to begin his work of conquest and rescue and reconciliation, not with peals of thunder and flashes of lightning, not with the shock and awe of overwhelming military might, but imperceptibly, as a human baby, born to a then unknown virgin in an obscure village and an even more obscure stable. The only evidence there was that night that something was stirring in the supernatural realm was in the appearance of the angel. The shepherds of Bethlehem were, we are told, out in the field keeping watch over their flock by night. Can you picture that? A night which no doubt began exactly like every other night for the shepherds. The sheep are bedded down for the night. The shepherds are wrapped in their rough cloaks against the chill of the night air, sitting out on the edges of the sheepfold, possibly immersed in their own thoughts, possibly engaged in quiet conversation. The darkness of the night has settled in with its accompanying silence when suddenly St. Luke gives us what is doubtless a quite understated rendition of the event, when he writes simply, "And an angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were filled with fear." What do you think that looked like? An angel of the Lord? I'm pretty sure it was not the wispy, pretty, feminized, artistic versions we see in most Christmas cards. Whatever form the angel took, it was enough to fill the shepherds with fear. Fear, not just bewilderment, certainly not delight, but fear. The supernatural intruding into the natural has a tendency to do that, doesn't it? And what of this glory of the Lord that shone around the shepherds? What was that, some soft candlelight? I don't think so. This was the Shekinah, the bright, piercing, all-enveloping glory of God in the form of pure light, the same Shekinah glory that was powerful enough later on to knock Saul to the ground and blind him on the road to Damascus. This light was both an evidence of God's glorious presence and a very tangible signal that indeed the people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who dwelt in a land of deep darkness, on them light has shined. And so now that the angel has the shepherd's undivided attention, he speaks, and he announces to them the good news. "Be not afraid, for behold, I bring you good news of great joy, which will come to all the people. For to you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord. And this will be a sign for you. You will find a baby wrapped in swaddling cloths and lying in a manger." And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly hosts, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace among men with whom he is well pleased." But as glorious and at first fearsome as that angelic encounter was for the shepherds, what they found when they arrived at the manger was anything but. It was rather thoroughly earthly, even earthy, tangible, steeped in natural simplicity. As I said a moment ago, for those who were not paying close attention to Old Testament prophecy, the circumstances of Jesus' birth were unexpected, unpredictable, and to all outward appearances, anything but glorious. We've come to know and love the kind of sanitized and romanticized versions of the nativity scene in Christian art. And that's certainly not a bad thing, that's a good thing. But the actual event was undoubtedly a good bit different from what we picture. We think today of the concepts of the manger and the stable, the swaddling cloths, and we think, how sweet, how quaint. But hold on a minute. First, the manger and the stable, which was most likely a cave. Let's think about that reality. I've shared this with you on Christmases before, but I'll share it again. As a father of 4 and a grandfather of 18 and a great-grandfather of 4, I'm pretty familiar with the great lengths the medical and childbirth communities go to today to provide a safe, sanitary, and comfortable, as safe, sanitary, and comfortable environment as possible for mothers in labor and their newborn infants, and rightly so, they should. But the environment in which the Son of God made his visible entrance into the world was none of those things. It was far from safe, sanitary, or comfortable. He was born in the habitat of livestock, big, heavy, clumsy, filthy, smelly livestock, cows and donkeys and sheep. And he was laid down in the feeding trough out of which those livestock ate, clothed only in strips of cloth to protect him against the cold night air. No doubt the floor of the stable was littered with the droppings of the animals, making it hard to find a clean place to stand, much less a place for Mary to lie down to give birth to her baby. And unless the animals were completely restrained, there would have been the constant danger of one of those oversized hooves landing on Mary or on the baby Jesus. But here's the point of all that. Would you want your baby to be born there? Of course you wouldn't. Neither would I. So then why would God want to have his son born there? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever asked yourself that question? The answer lies in our understanding that everything God did in and through the incarnation, he did for us, fallen, lost mankind, out of pure love and mercy for us. St. Paul says in Romans 8:32, God, who did not spare his own son, but gave him up for us all, will he not also give us all things with him? When we read of God not sparing his own son, our minds go immediately to Jesus' sacrificial death on the cross, and well they should, because the cross represents the absolute apex of God's demonstrated love for us. But it began here in Bethlehem with the deprivation and lack that surrounded Jesus' birth. Jesus' sinless life and his sacrificial death did not occur in a vacuum. They took place against the backdrop of Bethlehem. We could say that a seamless thread connects the wood of the manger of Bethlehem with the wood of the cross of Calvary. The birth of the Son of God and Savior of the world in obscurity, humility, and poverty in Bethlehem had to be what it was, because never before or since in the history of the world was a baby conceived in the way that Jesus was conceived and born for the purpose for which Jesus was born to die for the life of the world. The message that the angels announced to the Bethlehem shepherds was a message of joy, tranquility, and peace. And that is the message from God to every one of us this evening. God himself has provided to all who will receive it the permanent answer, the antidote to the fear, the anxiety, the depression, the darkness, the malaise that mark so many people's lives in our world today. God's abiding joy, God's holy tranquility, God's incomprehensible peace are ours for the asking. Not through material things, not through the diversions and distractions offered by the popular culture, not through some conjured up sense of fleeting Christmas spirit, but only through a right relationship with the God who became one of us, born a helpless, humble baby that holy night in Bethlehem. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.